when is a door not a door?
When it is a freshly started stream.
When it is a jar.
Fair enough. Hi everybody, welcome to the PokeCharm stream of Pokemon White. We're off to go and get bullied by a Ferris wheel again today. And bodied by a Sigilyph, probably. So, I am Teapot. Today I am with Stello and Elicidian and Cole.
Yo.
Hi.
And yeah, let's get straight to it. I will say in advance, I am suffering from something today, so I'm going to be a little bit quieter than usual. And
which means I get to be a whole lot louder than usual.
Yes, so I leave you in the capable hands of my co-host, and I'll just try not to repeatedly die. Like last week.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you didn't repeatedly die, you just died.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's often enough to be repeatedly, to be honest.
True, true.
Those were only 2 Sigilyphs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only 2, but 2 is enough.
Have you been grinding between now and then?
I have a little bit, yeah. So, most of my Pokemon have gained a few levels.
Yeah.
Particularly Blitzel Truehorse, who I'm hoping will actually be able to hit the Sigilyph, yeah, because everything else is kind of just there. There hasn't been that much change in moves. I think Weevil now has Fire Punch rather than Fire Fang, but that's kind of it.
No,
Oh, and Truehorse has Flame Charge now.
Nice.
yeah.
So
it can set things on fire.
Oh yeah, but I suppose Anakin might have something you can do with Sigilyph.
yeah, so hopefully we're in a better position. Just gonna do a little bit more grinding, but that's all.
Yeah. That's that.
Huh. Hey. I love these things.
Oh, I have a Reuniclus now.
Hey!
A Reuniclus.
Best Pokemon.
Not Reuniclus, sorry, a Solosis.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you had an actual Reuniclus at this stage, I think your problems are pretty much solved.
This is true.
Yeah, you've just won already, pretty much.
I love these things. I mean, that entire line is kind of adorable in a really frilled up sort of way, and yeah, there's these weird blobby still things. Anakin use cheap car insurance.
It's working, apparently.
Huh. Mona actually did something.
Yeah, sometimes it does.
Sometimes. Solosis is full of snatchers.
Yep.
Like the bottle ship!
Yeah, that's going to happen at some point, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know what I'm going to be doing now, at least. So,
Yeah.
when the time comes, I'll probably start that when I've got my new rig up, set up and everything. So it won't be for another few weeks, latest. I don't know. We'll see how it works. But yeah. Pokemon Red Poison type run is coming soon.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty much going to be only poison types are allowed. Try it the entire game. So yeah, let's see how we can do with a type that's weak to the best type in the game.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, right? And it'll be also, I think it's probably going to end up being something of a glitch exhibition as well, where I just show off a bunch of random stuff just to...
Synchronize is one of those moves that you just don't really get why they exist until...
Yes,
like,
Synchronize is kind of terrible.
Yeah, Synchronize is one of the worst moves in the game, pretty much. It's like...
I mean, actually, they kind of figured out what to do with it later, like a few generations later, when they actually did something I've done with Cephibus years ago. They basically stuck Synchronoise on that stupid pink thing with the teeth. Bruxish, that's the one.
Oh yeah.
And now it can murder water types, which is nice, actually. Because, it wouldn't do anything to psychic types, like, pure psychic types, because, it's a powerful attack, but they're still psychic types and they resist it.
Yeah.
But it is a rather nice move to deploy against, like, things that aren't psychic types, like water types for this particular example. So, it's more of a case of, it's a move that had potential, but needed to be put in a Pokemon with the type that can exercise it. And unfortunately, in Generation 5, when the move was introduced, that was nothing. The only things that got it were pure psychics.
Yeah.
I mean, Gen 5 did a lot of good things, that was not one of them.
Pretty much, yeah. Actually... Oh, hello. Looks like there were a few things they've done with it that could have been useful. But, well, they did give certain Pokemon that aren't pure psychic access to that particular move, but there was just literally one of them in Generation 5 that was accessible in Generation 5. And it was Sigilyph, surprisingly enough. So you can...
Sigilyph is a Pokemon of this stream, pretty much.
So yeah, if you want to murder birds using Sigilyph, that you could just deploy that particular train wreck. Although honestly, you might do better with the charge beam anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Since Synchronoise has, in this generation it really sucked.
That's a shame.
Yeah, in Generation 5, Synchronoise had a power of 70. And in Generation 6, they were like, maybe we should do something to make this move actually have a point. And they kicked it up to 120.
Wow, yeah, that to me seems a lot more useful.
And yet still nobody uses it.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's because it's pointless.
Exactly.
It is pretty situational, to be perfectly honest.
I think we're still waiting for that specific situation that it's useful in, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of put it on Cephibus because, it's just sort of made sense within the lore capacity of it all. Just this weird alien vast glob going on. But
that is one thing that it's quite a frequent mistake that people make when they're experimenting with teams. It's like certain moves are quite situational. Building a team that revolves around trying to force that situation is a bad idea.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because when you can't force that situation, which will happen, you are absolutely doomed. You will lose.
Pretty much. There's a bunch of moves that I kind of put in my Pokemon just because they sort of fit the general description of the thing, but they don't, expect anyone to rely on them.
Yeah.
Basically, you can still put, Psychic or Extrasensory if you don't feel like messing around with TMs on
Extrasensory is pretty good, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, it learns that naturally. Psychic can learn via TM.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen some Greninja sets that run Extrasensory.
Oh yeah, same. What I've actually done with Cephibus, which is actually a rather silly thing, is the fact that it's basically the sort of Pokemon that would actually be able to use Whirlpool. Because it's a bit of a damage sponge, for one. And it's got an ability that whenever something hits it, it sort of sharply reduces one of the opponent's stats. It's kind of like an upside-down Moody.
That's pretty awesome, I like that.
So yeah, basically one of the things you can do with Cephibus is to sort of trap the opponent in a whirlpool and just kind of force it to try to attack you and just sort of take hits and completely cripple the opponent.
You'd probably want to stick Toxic on that as well then.
Oh boy,
Or have
yeah.
Toxic Spikes, that'd probably be even better actually. Cause
No, I'm not sure if I have Toxic Spike on its
I mean, I wouldn't give it Toxic Spikes, I'd probably have something else on the team that has Toxic Spikes to set it up for him, and then he can take advantage afterwards because it kind of gives him more room to...
Oh yeah, that could be awesome.
Do his thing. Also, a good healing move would go really well with that.
I think it does have a healing move. Yeah, it does. It has Recover.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice. It also has Aqua Ring, but Aqua Ring kind of sucks, so...
Yeah, Aqua Ring was very, very underwhelming.
Yeah, it's sad because it's a really cool idea, but you know,
It
either needs to heal more than it currently does, or
It
just
does really. I mean, it's the issue that Aqua Ring has is it doesn't warrant the turn that you use to use it.
pretty much.
So you're basically giving your opponent a free turn. If it healed for more, like I would even go as far as to say, if it healed for a quarter of your health every turn, like the opposite of Curse, basically, then it would probably be pretty decent. I don't think it would necessarily be overpowered. It might be, but you know, you're still having to take a turn to use it. Maybe I'd say 1/8 at worst, honestly. But whatever it's doing now is just not good enough.
What is it doing? What is it doing anyway? I actually need to take a look at that right now because, for obvious reasons. Yeah, it basically, it's a 1/16th, kind of pointless.
Yeah, it's basically leftovers, and it's like, okay, fine, it's actually leftovers, but
Although, apparently,
whatever.
if you have a big root held, then it increases that by 30%.
it's not bad. But to be fair, leftovers is probably better.
Yeah.
I don't know if it adds up to more in the long run, but I don't know.
Interestingly, looks like if you... Oh, yeah, but that's kind of... I just read something about if you Z boost it, then it also raises your defense by 1 stage, but that still doesn't really...
Is it worth paralysing that Sigil lift, do you think?
I'm not going to be able to, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're probably better to paralyse it first, so that at least then everything else can outspeed it.
Yeah.
Does this even do much to a Sigilith, considering...
I mean, it's pretty quick. Sigil's pretty fast. I mean, to be fair, he's faster than a horse.
Yeah.
To be fair, a lot
the
of
horse
things
is
are
dead.
happening.
And the horse's thing is being quick, so...
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, Thunderwave probably would invest into it, because at least then you might get some breathing room if it gets fully paralysed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but, and that's what I call beating a dead horse.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much. He alerts you to Psybeam. It's like, no shit. Oh wow, I mean, I tanked that pretty well.
Yeah, I'm going to keep Muna in for now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's any...
Is that headbutt even worth using when its attack is so low?
True.
I'll probably go Moonlight, to be fair, if anything.
Well, it would have been nice if you actually had... Oh, right, never mind. It was like, maybe you
Tailwind.
could... I was like, maybe you could, like, paralyze it or something, but then I realized it's... Not,
Yours
not
gonna
paralyze.
break sleep, so that's
I
fine.
meant, like, you know, I kind of meant poison it or, like, you know, leech seed or something. I didn't realize... Yeah, Sigilith. It shrugs that off like a complete bastard.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Me doing that.
I think doesn't Assurance do more damage if you go second? I can't remember.
Not sure.
Assurance does more damage if the
Well,
opponent
he's
has
slightly
already
faster.
taken damage.
Well, to be fair, if Weeble can land this Fire Punch on him, he's probably going to take a lot of damage. So.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big if because he's got Hustle, which is just the best ability in the game. And not absolutely horrible in any way, shape, or form, Secret's name.
Basically, Assurance is designed to be a complete
That Scraggy is banned by Smogon, by the way.
naturally.
Of course it is.
To be
So is
fair,
that move.
Flagger is basically a move that was designed for that line. Silly pants lizard.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that that move is also banned. And he died in one hit anyway. That's great.
Yep. Unfortunately for it,
Scrafty's pretty awesome, I'll be honest.
Yeah, Scrafty's good.
Scrafty amuses me. The whole, to be perfectly fair, the entire line does because the whole pants on the ground sort of thing. Looking like food with your pants on the ground. That's basically the whole thing with this. I mean, it kind of makes sense because it's supposed to be this really obnoxious punk thing.
I like the design though, it's kind
Especially
of...
got a screenshot.
Yeah.
He got a character portrait! That means he's important!
I do like that.
Yep. Right, so now we've gotten, what's his face out of the way, I think that means we can actually, take on Alessa, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
You should probably heal first, though, obviously.
Yes.
Well,
Listen.
we can take on Elisa. We don't know if we can actually beat her at this stage.
No.
Considering her team is a ball egg.
We'll give her a go, though.
Oh, yes, we will.
Yeah. She's basically just 2 squirrels and a horse, isn't she?
Yeah, she's 2 squirrels and a big horse.
Yeah, and the big horse is kind of fast and it has flame charge.
The 2 squirrels are pretty quick too, to be fair.
Yeah, and they love doing this stupid dodgy thing.
Ultra instinct.
Pretty much, yeah. That's actually something really clever the game did there. If I say clever, I mean annoying as F. Sort of making the only... Well, sort of giving Elessa to Pokemon that are like, you know, oh, it's an electric type. Electrics are weak to ground, right? No, F you. 2 flying ones.
Yep.
That like dodging everything. That's one thing about Alessa's gyms that always kind of bothers me. How the flick do people who can't stand roller coasters get badges in this place? Or for that matter, fashion shows, as far as the second game goes. Pretty sure that everyone who has any form of anxiety disorder or something attempting to take on her gym is probably going to have a bad time. But hey.
What was the point in that? It just took you around in a circle and took you straight back to where you were.
That's because
I
it's
think
the...
that-
I need to change the track.
Yeah, that's the one that actually takes you back from the final platform. Platform 9! And 3/4.
That's the one.
See, this gym has like absolutely nothing to do with what her theme is, which is...
I mean, those are like electric monorail things, so sure.
They are, but it's like, she's a supermodel. Why is there like a monorail inside her gym? I feel like
Because her
the...
presence is an emotional roller coaster for everyone involved, or something.
I would have thought Sky would be more appropriate for that, considering she basically tortures you throughout the entire thing.
She just likes shooting people out of cannons.
She's a
Or-
genuinely horrible person.
Yeah. I still find it hilarious that her second, her gym Black 2 White 2 kind of involved fans everywhere. I mean, I could probably make a comment about something, but that would kind of require a swear jar.
And it begins.
Essentially.
Ultra Instinct is happening right now, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Why does it always do that? Dodgy squirrels. Well, could dodge that. And pissed off the crocodile. And has another squirrel. Why does everyone in this game like squirrels so much?
There aren't that many electric types in this gen.
Well, yeah, but there is, Oh, I guess that since you haven't seen them yet, it's kind of a bit of a weird thing to actually put them into the game at this point.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have seen Zeb Striker at this point, and she has one of those, so...
Yeah, but you could if you raise the horse from level whatever and actually hold it.
Yeah, true.
It's like, you know, Morga and the annoying horse are still in the general area of the whatever, and whereas the electric types that actually matter in this generation aren't yet. You know, between Galvantula and the other thing, Electros. Well, you wouldn't get to see them as those forms. It's just if you put them in this gym, you'd have like Joltik and maybe, if anything, electric. Dynamo is kind of you sort of look at it funny and it explodes.
Yep.
The electric types of this generation are so fragile. I mean, in their first forms. Some of them are fragile in all their forms, but... Well, yeah, Electros is a complete, absolute monster. And...
Electros is the best thing ever. Ever since VGC 13.
I love that
For
thing.
me. Yeah, my lovely evasion team. He was the MVP. Yeah, I've already said that story where the whole idea was to be annoying and
Yep.
be the biggest heel in the building, and it didn't work. Everybody loved it because it was different and unique.
Everyone loves a heel.
They really do. Like I tried. I did my best, but apparently the Great Poker Rob is a better heel than I'll ever be. At least in terms of getting people to genuinely hate him. Then again, I suppose he was passing the evasion boost to a Garchomp, which, you know, people are just like, ugh.
The timing of that was glorious.
And the Electros is like... Electros is different. And
It
people
is.
like different. That's what I've learned in the...
Electros is one of those Pokemon that make it great. You know what? I'm not sure what to stick on this team. I have another slot. Electros.
See, for me, that Pokemon was Bisharp. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
what it
Bisharp.
was. Like,
Bisharp is also a really great example of one of those. Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know what it was. Like, every time like I was like not sure of what to put in a slot on team, I would always end up picking Bisharp, just for the fact that it just works.
Yeah, I do love that thing. I just normally had a steel type already, so having another one was kind of...
I mean, it's a steel type, which is beneficial. As it can use Stealth Rock, always beneficial. Has massive attack stat, also beneficial. Has quite a lot of priority moves and good defenses. The only issue it has is its speed is very average outside of the priority moves, but you know, you can make it work.
Yep. I do really like that thing.
It is a great design, one of many that Gen 5 gave us.
The only problem we have with Bisharp's design is that it looks like it could steal its opponent's powers when he beats it.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
I'd be quite happy if Bisharp did do that, to be honest with you. I'd be perfectly happy with that.
there it goes. And I just pictured Mega Bishop, which is just straight up unapologetically Mega Man.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, to be fair, he kind of... He reminds me of Base, actually, in a sense. I don't know what it is.
He kind of... it's basically Quick Man, I mean, to be perfectly honest.
He's I do like the design.
Yeah, same.
Speaking of designs that look like Mega Man characters, Mega Heracross,
Oh yeah, that's definitely one of those.
which is blatantly a Maverick from one of the Mega Man X games.
Yeah, it does look like Gravity Beetle, kind of.
It is... I think it's just Gravity Beetle, except a different color.
Just a bit. I actually need to take a look at this.
And that would have been a good prize.
Gravity Beetle actually had like 2 extra bladey things on its horn. But yeah, there is a bit of similarity.
That would have been a good prize to make, a Heracross with the Mega Stone and the move Gravity. It would serve absolutely no purpose whatsoever other than maintaining the Gravity Beetle theme.
Gravity is one of those moves that usually does not have that much of a use.
Yeah, I mean, you could use it to completely bug Gen 5 out and ruin the game to get Skydrop banned. You could do that.
Yeah.
I think some people used it to make Hypnosis hit better. But
I've actually done it. I've used it with in combination with the Wildlands to make a Stone Miss Gigalith that actually hits.
I like that idea.
Yeah, it's basically it was Gigalith with like Gravity, Stone Edge. Pretty sure I put Earthquake on it for the hell of it, and obviously Sneaky Pebbles because Sneaky Pebbles.
You can't not have
Something
Sneaky
needs to
Pebbles.
have those. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And yeah, with the Gravity and the Wildlands, yeah. Wow.
There is some very interesting, like, I find that quite a few of the moves like that, like, there tend to be psychic moves where they have sort of all these weird and wonderful effects. Trying to find ways of using them is always a fun thing.
I've actually had a lot of fun with developing sort of moves like that for Miyato because, you know, I'm kind of going crazy with weird ideas. And one of the things I've done, for example, is develop... I need to take a look at the moves for a moment because I have a few examples of things that are there. Pretty much.
One of the one of the tactics I used in what's it? The VGC that had Ubers in it. Not the good one. The bad one. Because everybody loved using Xerneas with Power Gem in that.
Oh, naturally.
So I was like, okay, what do we do to do
Herb, you mean? Like the one that basically skips this dodge turn?
Yeah, it skips charge turn, so you can just use Geomancy straight away.
Yeah, that's the Power Herb, yeah.
So yeah, I was like, how do we deal with this? And I figured, you know what? The funniest way to deal with this would be Mega Mewtwo with Magic Room.
Oh my god.
Because it turns the item off. And then it locks them into the charge because they've already used it. So it just gives me a free turn to just absolutely ruin Xerneas' day.
That is great.
Because then you can just side strike it and use another move on it and it just falls over. And they can't use Protect because they're locked into Geomancy.
Yep.
There was actually one match where I actually recorded it where it's like me actually pulling off the strategy correctly, because the first time I tried it, I did it completely wrong. Which is entirely my own fault. I wasn't paying attention, which was foolish of me, where I basically just ruined his Xerneas with that. And then obviously it was the Weather Wars. Everyone had the whole Weather Wars thing going on. You had Primal Groudon, Primal Cobra and all that. All them gubbins. So I set up Cresselia to use Skill Swap on my Kyogre, so that when the abilities swap around, because when you skill swap, if there's any abilities that are activated when you send out, they activate again as soon as they swap onto the new Pokemon. So by using skill swap on Kyogre, it puts his rain effect back on the field if it had been removed prior.
Huh.
Oh, they reset the roller coasters. Huh.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they do that.
So what I also did was I EV'd, set up Kyogre's EVs so that his speed stat was exactly 1 point lower than Cresselia's. So that as soon as Cresselia used the skill swap, Kyogre's turn would always be next, which basically ruined every Primal Groudon's day. Or one of them, before I got bored.
It's always fun to find, like, interesting ways to completely F with the things that seem to be used repeatedly by everyone in a particular setting.
That is the problem that you face though when you are just using the same stuff that everybody else is using, is that it becomes very easy to counter it. And the thing is people will say, oh, but those counters are situational. Not when everybody's using that.
Pretty much. And then Snowen comes along and bans it because there's no counters!
No, there's no counters, but they're too situational apparently. It's like, well, if everybody's using it, then it's not situational anymore, is it? If that situation is happening literally all the time, then you can't call it situational anymore.
That's basically what happens when there's no ink ribbons.
Pretty much. And there's definitely not enough ink ribbons in this game.
Oh yeah.
More like, we're using one now, in fact, right now in front of Elisa. She's got a typewriter. She's literally holding out the typewriter for you as you put this in.
I just had this really weird mental image of that particular wavy electric thing behind her as the railgun.
It just so like she's like the. See, if this was Skylar's gym, that would be a railgun, and as soon as you speak to her, she'd just sidestep and blast you straight back out the door.
Yep.
Because as we've established, Skylar is a horrible person.
That sounds kinda alright.
Like, I don't understand how Elisa and Skylar are like friends when like Elisa's nice and Skylar's just an awful, awful human being.
I have no idea. But again, I guess she's just too nice to kind of notice it. Shrug.
Yeah, it seems that way. Volt switch, good move. Albeit not a particularly damaging one against John Cena, the champ.
Naturally. Huh, weird. Thought I had more weird psychic moves in Miata. Apparently I only have 2.
Does John Cena have guts? I can't remember.
I
Don't think he does.
I can't remember what ability he had. For some reason I thought he had guts, I can't remember.
He has inner focus.
Well, I suppose that's alright. It's not amazing in this.
never remember what they're called. I always think of them as Hitmon Bert and Hitmon Ernie, so it's like I keep forgetting they're called Throw and Sock.
His stock's actually pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I heard that Salt is actually pretty good, but it is a black exclusive, so... Shrug.
Yeah. But again, it's this just another Gen 5 Pokemon that's actually pretty good.
Yep,
They did a good job with this.
they really did. They really, really did.
Oh yeah. And squirrels are already causing a fair amount of difficulty right now.
They are, yes.
Yes, they are.
I can spam revives if I need to, so it's not too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
but-
that works. And so this one's
Or I can just punch them really hard.
punching really hard sounds like a good idea overall. I would say that's
And then the squirrel caught fire.
bonk.
Or something with, what's that ability called again? Hustle. Weeble is kind of hitting things pretty well.
He's doing a good job.
And of course not. Oh,
She's doing a good job. I shouldn't her gender. Whoops.
oh, look, the horse is on fire.
And it's burnt. Good job.
Yep.
I think Weeble's probably going to fall over if it stays in.
That
Anakin
was
might be a
okay,
good shout actually, because he can probably get a free switch off of this guy. And he does.
Ooh. Well, it's still on fire, so...
No, she's a hyper potion, but she's still burnt, so
Pretty much.
it means that I don't think she's going to be able to do much damage to Anakin.
No, the problem is mostly the fact that things can sort of speed itself up a bit.
Well, I think we're already slower than it anyway, so
Just a bit, yeah.
any additional speed it gets is going to be
Well,
pointless, really. Especially when it has
can
quick
dig
attack.
It can dig it.
Can you dig that, sucker? Bye bye. And there's Moxie.
That should
As
be-
might as well keep Anakin in just to finish off the squirrel who's now by
Yeah.
itself. Yeah, I think this is game.
Yeah, the squirrel is not exactly.
Oh,
There's something
I just
really-
did that. Was really stupid. Oh well.
Dig.
Yeah, you
Well.
flying squirrel. I'm sure it'll land just for you.
Oh well. Sometimes silly things happen. Considering the amount of misclicks I've had,
You are strategically dodging its quick attack,
Yeah, that we'll go with that.
which would have KO'd you had you not used dig that turn.
That is true, to be fair.
so it all ends up working out. Oh yeah, that is definitely a thing that they
I
should.
just missed Gen 5. I'm just gonna say that straight. I just missed Generation 5.
Yeah.
Torment.
Yes. That is just great, to be perfectly honest.
See, if we were gonna keep Torment on this, I would name this thing Obelisk. To be fair, like the My Pokemon is Dying music is very, very good. So I can forgive.
Yeah, I agree.
Forgive and forget.
He likes putting you down to 3 health, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What an incredibly obnoxious squirrel. I forget when that thing actually gets a decent move.
It's like Psybeam.
Monarch.
The Yawn might not have been a bad shout, depending on how much damage Psybeam does, though. So.
So I'm just taking a look at its learn set now because I keep forgetting it's so decent. Psychic move. Oh, it only gets psychic at level 37. Great.
Wah, wah. To be fair, Psybeam's not bad for this stage of the game. You can still,
Yeah.
you can still confuse people.
Except that psychic again gets really late gamey TM ways, so it's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
You know, might as well just kind of let that thing do its floaty pink thing.
I mean, to be fair, once you get Moshana, it is really good.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, my only experience with that line was so completely and utterly pointless that...
Hey, Volt Switch.
Yeah,
Volt
basically,
Switch is
the moment...
good.
Volt Switch is good. I mean, it is an electric U-turn, but...
I think the thing that makes it, is, I mean, to be fair, well, U-turn's still good. I think the thing that makes Volt Switch better overall is the fact that, it's not contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although U-turn at the same time can't be blocked by switching in something that's immune to it, because nothing's immune to it except Shedinja, who doesn't count for obvious reasons.
I think I actually have a water-type version of that particular group of moves. Yeah, I do. Huh. And actually, it's also a quote-unquote signature move of the squids, although they can breed it over to certain things. I also did not make that contact move. Excellent.
Righto, time to heal up and head off to Driftvale, I suppose.
Yeah, we've completed this part of the game, which was quite challenging initially.
It was rather, yeah. Bit of grinding goes a long way.
Just a bit, yeah.
It really does. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to get anywhere in Platinum without all the off-screen grinding I've done.
Yeah.
Had a lot of it to do before.
Hopefully I will not need to do that.
Well, it is Gen 1. You could basically just kind of take 3 steps to the right and...
Win.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
basically.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm hoping... I'm pretty sure it won't. Just the fact that Gen 1 has so many stupid exploits in it that you can find ways to just get around anything, pretty much. Which, again, I will be showing off some of these, and I imagine some people will probably be crying foul that some of them are cheap, but I don't care.
Basically.
Like, I will be demonstrating the ridiculousness of X accuracy at some point.
That sounds good.
That is great.
Because one of the teammates, obviously pure poison team, one of the teammates is going to be Nidoking. And he's going to have Horn Drill.
Oh boy.
Can you, I don't know if you'll be able to, but... Oh, hello. Can you show off the Mew glitch? I know you can't use Mew.
Yes,
Yeah.
I won't be using Mew because obviously that goes against the rules. But I can catch Mew. I've decided that obviously for the sake of HMs and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I am allowed to catch Pokemon that are not poison types. I'm just not allowed to send them out in a battle. So
You could use Mew as your HM slave, so...
yeah, he definitely would be a very good HM slave, considering he gets everything. Wait, gets everything.
Yes,
Obviously, he's only got 4 move slots and there's 5 HMs, but to be fair, Flash you don't really need after a certain point anyway. So,
Basically, yeah.
yeah, I will be demonstrating the Mew glitch. I might not do it at the earliest point that you can do it because that requires catching an Abra.
Ah, yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. But I definitely will be showing off that glitch. As best as I can remember it, which I might end up having to look at the guide and following its instructions to remember exactly how to do it. Well, I know how to do it, I just can't remember exactly where everything is quite off the top of my head. You can do it as early as the Nugget Bridge,
Oh, nice.
and you can just get Mew. The only problem is trying to catch Mew with Pokeballs is a bit annoying. but I think it gets transform at that level that you
It
find
does.
at. So
I think
you
it
can.
does.
So I'm not sure exactly how transform affects catch rates in Gen 1, but I'd imagine I could just get it to turn to like, I don't know,
I
the Zubat or
think-
something.
I think there might have actually been a weird issue with I think there was an issue at Gen 1 in which if a Mew actually used Transform, then if you catch it, it'll be a Ditto. I think there was a problem with that.
There's always Gen 1 is made of problems, and let's just say that.
It's made of problems in the occasional line of code.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gen 1's fun, and they did the best they could with the technology that they had. But the bottom line is, it's still a complete mess.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that is what happens in Generation 1 and 2. Any Pokemon that uses Transform is considered to be a Ditto when it takes a new form. So if a Pokemon that the player catches a Mew or something that has Transform, then, or a Pokemon that uses Transform via Mirror move, when they catch it, it'll be a Ditto.
What I might end up doing then in that case is, I might try and catch an Oddish, because I'm still allowed to use Oddish under the rules, and just train it until it knows Sleep Powder, and then just do it that way.
I think Bulbasaur gets,
It does, it's just it gets it very late in Gen 1, it gets it like level 50 something.
Oh, okay.
Or Venusaur gets it level 50 something, I don't know, I'd imagine Bulbasaur gets it in the 40s. But yeah, it's still going to be way later than when you can do the Mew glitch, where you'll be probably below level 20 at that stage.
Yeah.
Oddish, I'm pretty sure gets it before level 20, but that might require me to grind Oddish up to the point where I get Sleep Powder so I can pull the thing up. But again, it's not something you have to do straight away, as long as you leave the trainers, as long as the trainers that you use to trigger the glitch are left alone for when you know, you can go back and do it anytime you want to, really, so. But yeah.
Oddish gets Sleep Powder at level 19 in Generation 1.
Perfect. Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we will be showing off the Mew glitch, assuming that the emulator or ROM or whatever has not fixed it.
Huh. Butterfree gets it at 15 in yellow, but if you're doing red, it'll be 17.
Problem is, I can't send Butterfree out 'cause it's not poison type.
Right. Fair point.
If only Beedrill learnt it, but he's terrible, so he doesn't.
Venonat gets it very late. Bellsprout gets it at 18. Yeah, that's all there is to it, basically.
We'll work it out. But yeah.
Sure.
Mew glitch is happening. X accuracy glitch is happening. I'm going to try and pull off the Brock through walls one as well, which is also known as the Brock skip. Where basically, if it uses the same sort of mechanic as the Mew glitch, which is generally known in the speedrunning circles as Trainer Fly, due to the way that it works, because it involves a trainer and the move Fly, or Teleport, which works the exact same way. But you know, Trainer Fly sounds easier to say. So yeah, Brock skip uses the same sort of logic where you can in Generation 1 you can interrupt a event that takes place when you walk onto a certain tile under certain circumstances by turning the menu on.
Yeah.
If you have the timing right. So I think it's like about I don't think it's quite 1 frame. It's like might be 3, I don't know, but you got to be very quick is the point. And at that point, once you've done that, if you then save the game or start doing things or whatever, at that point, then you can start messing up what the game thinks is going on. The reason why the Mew glitch or Trainer Fly glitch works is because when you trigger it, or at least the first stage of it, you're basically putting the game in a state where it thinks that you're in the middle of a battle against a trainer, but you're actually walking around on the overworld.
Yep.
And obviously at that stage, some weird things start happening because the game thinks you're doing one thing, but in actuality, you're doing something completely different. And then when the game realizes, oh wait, hang on, there's something quite not right here, then starts to try and sort itself out, which, long story short, gets you a Mew. Under certain circumstances again.
Yep, it can be just about any other Pokemon, depending on which trainer you're used to. Initially,
Yeah,
glitch.
I mean, depending on which trainer, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a trainer, it can be a wild Pokemon that you use. Obviously, with wild Pokemon, it's a lot harder to determine because their stats are random, whereas with trainers, you can data mine their team and work out what stats they have. So obviously, people worked out that if you go to the Nugget Bridge, the guy with the Slowpoke happens to have the perfect special stat to give you a Mew.
Yep.
Really convenient because there's a guy who triggers the glitch on that same route. You can use the Trainer Fly glitch on, which is the guy who's on the left side of the Nugget Bridge next to where Mewtwo's cave is.
Yeah.
If you trigger the glitch with the first trainer in the fighting dojo who has a Machop, I think he has more than one Pokemon though, so I think you have to let him beat you with that Machop. You get Missing No, which naturally opens the game up to all manner of other glitches which you can potentially use. And we will be triggering the Missing No glitch as well, just to demonstrate that.
Yep. The arbitrary code execution is strong with this one. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like I think because of how prevalent the Missing No glitch was in Generation 1, a lot of people didn't kind of overlooked the other things that you could do with the Cinnabar Island route. The way it works is effectively Cinnabar Island is, well, basically every single place has got a list of
It's a
wild
counter
Pokemon.
chart, yes. And basically that particular patch of water/land did not have its own...
It didn't, no.
it didn't have an encounter data thing loaded for it. So you could basically fly from, like, the Safari Zone or something and just start encountering Safari Zone Pokemon on that particular stretch.
That's correct, yeah. Normally, what it would do
yeah.
is it would change the encounter rate depending on where you move to. Because Cinnabar Island has got no encounters on it, or at least it's not supposed to, it keeps it the same as whatever it was before. Which, as you say, allows you to catch Safari Zone Pokemon outside the Safari Zone, which makes getting stuff like Chansey and Tauros much, much easier than they would otherwise.
Not to mention Dratini.
Yes, Dratini is a lot easier to get. Just all manner of Pokemon, but you could trivialize getting the Safari Zone stuff by doing that. Of course, the way the Missing No glitch works with the Old Man is that when it switches to the Old Man for showing the Pokemon demonstration, it stores your player character's name in the wild Pokemon data slot, since there's nothing in there because you're in Viridian City. So then naturally when you fly to Cinnabar Island and start surfing up and down the route, it pulls out the wild Pokemon data and it's like, oh wait, this is your name, let's just break the whole game now.
Yep. That's why it's called Missing No, because it's a missing number.
And the Japanese name for it, Ketsuban, translates exactly to that as well.
Exactly.
Also, people realise that depending on what your name is, will determine what Pokemon and what level they're at appear on the Cinnabar Island strip. So by picking certain names, you can manipulate exactly what turns up. So you could end up with like a level 180 Mewtwo if you pick the right name.
That particular patch of code is just really, really...
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they did it because of the limitations of the memory on the cartridge, so they kind of had to cut a few
Honestly,
corners.
it is really impressive they actually managed to make this game work at all.
It is very, given the technology at the time, and again, that's kind of the reason why I don't rag so much on Gen 1, because it's like, well, really, with the technology you had at the time, you couldn't have really done it any better than, you were... They did the best they could with what they had. The bottom line is there was only so much you could really do with it, which is the reason why Generation 1 has all of these glitches in it. It's just the technology just wasn't there yet at the time. And Gen 2 kind of suffered from it to some degree as well.
Well, yeah, because they kind of had to stick something from Gen 1 in there for backwards compatibility issues, and obviously when the system is already kind of broken as spheres, you're kind of to expect to see things that are broken spheres. Although they have managed to make it a lot better.
Oh yeah, Gen 2 was definitely a lot better than Gen 1 was in terms of not being glitchy. The glitches in Gen 2 take a lot more effort to kind of trigger them, but when you do trigger them, the game pretty much unravels in the exact same way as Gen 1 did.
There is a really cool thing that could happen. I think they have removed it in the English versions, but I've actually triggered it mostly by mistake, really, in the Japanese version of Silver, where if you did something with the bug catching contest, then it basically cloned some of the data from a Pokemon in a certain slot to a Pokemon in another slot, and I basically sort of ended up with a purple Dragon Raging Vaporeon as a result.
Yeah, there was some interesting things. I think one of the glitches in Gen 2 involved the coin case.
Yes, there was that one.
I don't know what it was about the coin case that made it break the game in the manner that it did. I can't think of anything the coin case does that should allow it to be able to do that, quite frankly. But using the coin case and a Weavile with beat up, you could get Celebi.
Sneasel, I suppose.
Sneasel. Weavile.
Yeah, Weavile didn't even exist at that generation.
I'm sure you could make it happen.
Probably.
If you twisted the game around. Yeah, Sneasel is the correct Pokemon you'd use that. Obviously, if you tried doing it with Weavile. Is this Biker Charles?
Yep.
Yes.
He's the best character in this game.
Fair.
Alright, it's a triple battle, dude. Let's do a triple battle.
Yeah, you've got a Battle Charles. He's awesome.
Yeah. Basculin, Purple Rock, and Zip Striker.
He's got actually got a pretty good team there, to be fair.
He does.
Yeah, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, this could be fun.
Oh, he's got Intimidate as well. Okay.
Oh boy.
Well, True Horse is going to die very quickly, so...
Yeah, he might want to leave very quickly because he's going to fall over.
Luckily, we have Volt Switch.
Oh. Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say use Volt Switch on the fish.
On the fish, naturally.
And pray that the fish isn't faster than you.
Probably is. It is.
Good lord. Really?
Why you don't use Grass Knot? Grass Knot's a horrible move. Okay, Zip Striker using Pursuit.
Ow.
That is a fast fish.
It
Yeah.
really is.
But to be fair, at least the horse got out.
That's
Yeah,
true.
And took out a fish.
And he took out the fish, yeah, so the True Horse he served his job well. In that
Yeah.
time.
Fair play for True Horse. This is the first time it's useful in any capacity.
That's a bit harsh.
Well, in this particular run, anyway.
That Croc Rock is now banned by Smogon as well.
What's he done? Well, to be fair, he does evolve into a rather indecent looking entity, so, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a PG, Crocodile is now banned from the stream.
Fair.
Pingus Face Kamina Croc, as
Oh, there it is.
we call that thing.
Yeah. The sad thing is Crocodile's actually not that bad in terms of stats and moves. It's actually a pretty cool thing, so... It's just a shame it ended up with such an unfortunate design.
My biggest issue with that particular line in terms of design is the fact that, yeah, Sandile is adorable as all get out. And unfortunately, the evolutions aren't. I mean, I was kind of hoping that it would actually turn into... I was hoping it would stay quadrupedal, but, you know, nothing stays quadrupedal in this Thrice F series.
Venusaur.
But, yeah, you know, I mean, like...
Oh, to be fair, I don't think Venusaur had a choice, really.
Venusaur is just generation... Venusaur is generation 1, I mean, it's generation 3, I guess, and things started
That
getting
is gonna hurt.
stupidly... Ow.
+2 revenge, super effective. Yeah, I think Charles is going down. I thought he'd do better than this, I'm not gonna lie. I thought he'd have a pretty good chance, but... No, he's,
He fell before the true champion.
he fell before John Cena.
My brain auto-completed that with, the Mega Man level team.
Zebra Man.
Pretty much. And then... it survived somehow.
To be fair, Sandile's not particularly strong yet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Zebstrike is asleep now anyway, so I think this one's pretty much in the books.
Yeah. But before I got completely distracted, I was kind of hoping that Sandile would actually not do the their alligator thing and just stay this awesome quadrupedal sand croc of doom, and it didn't. And the final form, it's like, I get what they were going for with the Gharial, but it's just not a very good design.
Yeah, I think I do agree. I think if they just left it as a bog standard quadruped crocodile, it would have been better.
There's just so many prehistoric crocodiles, for example, I could have gone with and made it interesting, but
I can't remember. Do you ever see that guy again?
I think so.
I think he does appear in the Black 2, White 2, like one particular situation or type of situation. But yeah, he wasn't just kind of roaming around and talking about battles of some capacity.
Yeah, I think he's there to just introduce you to like the new battle types.
Yeah.
That they then got rid of.
Pretty much.
I mean, to be fair, like nobody played them anyway, so I guess fair enough. But then again, it's Sun and Moon. They got rid of a lot of other things as well, which really didn't need to be removed.
Mm.
They have been experimenting with a lot of weird battle types, which actually were an interesting notion, but either should have been utilized more or should have been utilized in a better capacity than they were. Yeah, you need to go to the freezer first and deal with the plasma idiots.
The freezers in again?
Not that freezer. The cold storage place. It's in the south side of the city. And it's got this one sage who just keeps saying how cool he is all the time. Why am I talking like this? It's Clay's fault.
See, to me, Clay just seems like a rather underwhelming version of Byron.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's a poor man's Byron.
Mm.
He don't even laugh at his holes.
Like, imagine if Byron was in Gen 5, like, this would be even better.
It would be. But then again, I do suppose that Clay is more of a logical choice because, you know, he just screams they shoot you for the Atlantexius.
Yeah, he's not the most grounded individual, you could say.
I know, right? Some people are a lot more down to earth.
Hmm. But, you know, we shouldn't talk about people, it's dirty business.
I know, right? In his case, it's even more appropriate considering business is what he does.
Ah, I forgot about dealing in Swordsbuck.
Yep.
He's supposed to be this Lamb of Aelper. He's a legitimate businessman.
See, you know, they kind of missed an opportunity where Clay just doesn't let you battle him, he just points a shotgun at you and tells you to get off his property.
Well, last time they tried to do that, they kind of got their episode censored, so...
That's the point, yeah. I suppose Clay wouldn't have made it into the game. But apparently they still let Skylar in.
Because cannons are not guns. That's canon.
Yeah. Yeah, Scarlet is canonically a horrible person.
I know, right?
We have a bird. What are we calling it? Apart from fly slave.
Call it Bird. Just call it Bird.
Call it a word.
Call it Bird with a U. B-U-R-D.
Has everybody heard about the bird? That's the word. Oh, great! Now it's stuck in my head again.
See, I would have said call it that, but Family Guy's absolute garbage. So
yes, but that thing existed long before Family Guy made a mockery of it, and it's kind of hilarious to say garbage because the song was originally by a group called the Trashmen.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a perfect.
Have you caught Trubbish yet?
Not yet.
Okay, name that Family Guy. And if you catch Garboda, name it Love Island. I don't even know if you can get wild guard odor in this game. I can't remember.
I am not sure.
Your Family Guy has evolved into Love Island. And British television has now become completely awful. Not that it wasn't before. I like that. They want to cancel Robot Wars, and then it's like, yeah, but you get another season of Love Island. It's like, gee, thanks. Where would I be without you?
Can we have Love Island Wars, where all these complete and utterly useless human beings get to punch each other in the face and eaten by house robots?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, just stick the house robots in there and just have them, like, you know.
That would make the best islands.
That would just be an amazing image, and that would just be an amazing Metal Gear to have. Like, you've just got like this completely vapid couple doing all sorts of whatever, which I can't mention because the stream is PG, in the bed, and just as they're about to get it on, Matilda just bursts out the wall and tears the bed to pieces with her disc gun.
On this corner, vapid couples. On the other corner, deathbots.
No.
Let's get ready to run. Oh.
I wouldn't call it a rumble, it'd just be a massacre.
Yep.
It is quite funny though that people don't actually realise just how big these machines are until you actually see them up close.
Yeah, I mean, when you take a look at them through the cameras, they do look kind of smallish. It's like, you know, it's like this small little thing, and then you're like, oh.
I mean, there's no sense of scale when they're all put next to each other.
Yeah.
It's not until you actually like see them next to an object where you can actually gauge its size that you kind of get an idea of how big they actually are. I mean, I went to a live event called Robots Live earlier this year, which allowed you to, well, see the robots live, hence the name. And that's when you realise just how big and powerful and sturdy these things are. I mean, their house robot is called Goliath. He's basically like, he's kind of like Sakillalot in many ways. Literally weighs 1,000 kilos. Literally 1 ton of house robot in the arena. And they've got like kids taking photos like next to him, and he's just absolutely dwarfing them.
That's pretty great, honestly.
Yeah. And just the idea of having 1,000-kilo combat robot, when they all none of them look that big, and you got this guy who lays a literal ton going in there.
Yep.
And then you got the contestants who will weigh 110 kilos a piece, which is significantly heavier than the average man. I'd like to point that out. And they're just throwing each other around like they don't weigh anything.
Pretty much. I just noticed how Emolga kind of has this really face when it's not having this vapid grin on its face. Just kind of, it's a literal this sort of face. No, Twitch, I did not want you to do an emoji.
Twitch always does emojis, that's all you're gonna get out of it.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, it kind of does actually. I don't think it's intentional.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's just supposed to be closing its mouth. But it's just it's all like, look at me, yay! What am I smiling about? I'm about to die.
Yeah, well, of course, I mean, you know, the best anime character of all time used this Pokemon in cartoon.
I know, right? Hey, everything's just great. Life is pain.
I think the latter is definitely how you would feel in that scenario.
Oh yeah.
Being involved. Is it just me, or is it like, or does the anime's quality like in complete inverse proportion to the quality of the game of that generation?
It does have a tendency to do that. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I will say that it doesn't always do that, because take a look at the Generation 2 anime for a second. Johto was a drag of phenomenal proportions. I mean, okay, the first half of Johto was a drag of phenomenal proportions, because, you know, basically the first series was actually kind of still trying to figure out what exactly it's doing, so I kind of can't fault it for that. And then there was the Orange Islands, which was actually, you know, it was a filler arc, but it was the best filler arc
I was gonna say, I really liked the Orange Islands arc in hindsight. Like, when they did...
They tried. That's the awesome thing. They
tried something different, and it was cool.
Exactly.
That actually disappoints. That actually made me kind of disappointed that those islands didn't turn up in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and we got the Sev Islands instead, which accomplished absolutely nothing.
Pretty much. Actually, that's one thing I kind of found hilarious about the trials in Alola.
They are kind of like the Orange Islands, aren't they? When you think
I'm pretty sure that is kind of the idea they were running with. Although, you know, they kind of did end up with something that ended up being basically a gym rather than, you know, something that's more interesting. But, you know, it is kind of... Yeah, they tried. That's the important thing. But yeah, basically, you know, they finished the whole filler arc, and they were like, hey, we've got a new generation. So what do we do with it? I guess we need to showcase all these new creatures. And then basically...
so boring.
Yeah, exactly. The whole first arc of Johto was like, you know, our heroes continue their journey to wherever city to get the whatever badge from whoever gym leader.
On the way, like, how many episodes did that?
Over 9,000, essentially.
What, 9,000? Oh my god, that's a sweat jar. I'm sorry, but the Johto anime deserves that. Like, the thing is, though, is like, going back to what I said, like, the whole inverse proportion. Johto, I loved Gen 2 games as a kid. When I was younger, I absolutely loved those games. Playing them again now, I was kind of like,
yeah,
but
kind of.
The nostalgia was still there.
Yeah, I mean, I did play Crystal to death.
I love Gold. But I stopped watching the anime during the Johto's arc.
I can't blame you.
This
Johto
wasn't doing anything.
Exactly. I mean, they did kind of get better once they got past the, so to speak, the third season and moved into the fourth and fifth. In which they actually tried to have some vague sort of plot going on, kinda. But you know, the first episodes were still very clearly a 13-minute toy commercial.
I was long gone by that point. And then, I mean, as I say, I stopped watching because I only kind of found out what happened in the anime from like bits and pieces. So yeah. Gen 3, I don't really know what happened in Gen 3. I heard it was decent.
Hoenn kind of wiggled. It had good episodes, it had bad episodes. It just kind of did this weird sine wavy sort of thing. And then basically because they kind of needed to shove Fire Red Leaf Greedy in there at some point, they just went, you know what? The Battle Frontier, it's in Kanto. And it's like, why? Why is it in Kanto? Why is there any actual reason for anything to be in Kanto?
Because glitches.
Yeah, exactly. Because glitches.
you can't have too many glitches. I was gonna say, like, because initially, I'll say, like, in hindsight, I kind of came to appreciate them more, but when I first played them, I did not like Ruby and Sapphire at all.
Yeah, Ruby and Sapphire were unfinished. Again, they had a lot of good ideas, but they needed Emerald to actually wrap them up and tie a bow on them.
I didn't play Emerald until, like, after Diamond and Pearl had come out. So I never really got to see it. I mean, I had no desire to see it because Ruby and Sapphire were just kind of like, whatever, don't care.
Yeah, Ruby and Sapphire, I think they just kind of tried too hard to have, like, you know, oh, there's a slightly different plot here because, you know, that we didn't do that before. But
horses evolving.
Hey, woo! That time. And then Gen 4, I mean, I don't really know what happened in Gen 4's anime. All I know is that Gen 4 games were kind of not
Gen
good.
4's anime was the best anime arc until XY happened, basically. It was just really good. I mean, you could say that some of it was polarizing. I mean, you did have Dawn, but, you know, Dawn actually did something and had a bit more personality than May. Although, it was a rotten personality.
Well, you know, can't
but, you know, honestly, the female characters in this series, except for Misty, unfortunately, were all basically just there for, just for the sake of being there.
Token female character, basically.
Token female character. And, you know, then when they introduced, they basically added them in to showcase the other half of the game. So, you know, when they introduced May, she was basically completely clueless about training. And they actually missed a really glorious pun in the first or second episode. But yeah, basically she was like completely clueless about training. She didn't really like Pokemon all that much.
EXP pig.
And yeah, at some point she discovered contests and it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do that. And when they started with Diamond and Pearl, contests were already pretty much established. They were like, you know what, I'm going to. Dawn was like all in into the contest thing from the beginning.
It kind of makes sense for her though, because she was kind of a more girly girl sort of character. So
yeah, and also her mother was this big contest star. Again, we saw this in Platinum, where the main character's mother is. This is actually Platinum. Well, Diamond and Pearl actually was the first time that the main character's mother was actually allowed out of the house. And we actually found out for the first time that, holy shit, these people have lives somewhere.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cool to find out that, you know, she actually was accomplished something.
And then Gen 5 anime. Woo!
Oh yeah, Generation 5 anime is completely and absolute trash. And then Generation 6 came along and felt like a huge apology.
Yeah, too bad the games didn't.
Yeah, well, the games were never finished. I'm pretty sure that what they did is, I think we've already discussed this like 15 million times over the last few streams, but I'm pretty sure that what happened is that they basically used all the concepts that were supposed to go into Z, and they were forced to cancel because the higher-ups told them, hey guys, you're too high. Pretty sure that they took all the concepts they planned to use in Z and put them in the anime instead. And they actually handled it really, really well. I mean, I would have loved to have played this through this particular story where, you know, you have the Zygarde core floating around with you, sort of being a thing. And, you know, Team Flare's got the other half of the Zygarde. And they're planning something like big involving Mega Evolution, which is sort of what's happening there.
And instead we got, well...
Yeah, I mean, it also... And yeah, the anime actually also made a lot more sense in terms of how nobody knew that Team Flare was up to no good. Because Lysandre, I mean, he does make a few... Is it Lysandre? Lysandre? I have no idea. It's supposed...
I call him Lysander, but I don't know if that's right.
I think it's supposed to be Lysandre, yeah. I mean, he's French. Why do you think he has this outrageous accent, you silly king?
Well, isn't his Japanese name Fleur Delis?
It is. Pretty much. Well, he won the World Cup anyway, so shrug.
Or, as they would say in America, Fleur Delis.
Yep. It's just a nickname. His full name is Fleur d'Elizabeth.
Have you ever heard an American try and pronounce coup de grace?
Oh dear God. Don't tell me they actually make it coup de grace.
Coup de grace.
The grass. Oh dear.
It's like, for God's sake, how uneducated are you? I'll say that, I'm pretty sure there's some people in other countries who would pronounce it the exact same way. That makes you just as bad. If not worse, because you don't have an excuse.
DTs know what the heck French is doing half the time. Some kids are catching Pokemon close to the cold storage. And you know what lives next to the cold storage?
Yeah, congratulations to France for winning the World Cup again.
Yeah, I mean...
So that, I have only one thing to say. I mean, my French is not good enough to do this, but bear with me just a moment. Bear with me. I don't know if this is going to be grammatically accurate, but at least I can do the French accent well enough. Okay, I'll give this a go. Il ne rentre pas à la maison sous scellé. That is my message to the French for winning the World Cup.
Mon glisseur est plein d'envie.
Your hovercraft is full of eels?
Yes, exactly. I am not sure I pronounced that correctly, but you know.
Okay, Dwayne, did I pronounce that correctly?
Obviously, I couldn't let a foreign language go mentioned without throwing in the obvious evil thing.
Yeah. I will now sound good. Thank you. My French was at some point very good. I can say French words, I just don't know what I'm actually saying half the time. Or most of the time.
That's all right. I have that same problem in English.
That's fine. I'm sure most people do. For the record, I will now proceed to translate exactly what I said. What I said, il ne rentre pas à la maison sous télé, translated into English means it is not coming home, suck it down.
I mean, I'm kind of... From our point of view, it's probably good that we didn't get this far.
Yes, I'm honestly glad.
Because
in
we
hindsight,
would have been bodied 7-0 by the French. So, and that's like the worst thing that could possibly happen to England in the football.
Yeah, losing to France is, especially if you're English, is a new level of humiliation, and they were really.
Well, I mean, Croatia bodied us, and the French won. Was it 4-2 in the end?
It
Yeah.
was 4-2, yeah. I mean, they did get one. I mean, one of their goals was from a penalty kick, and one of their goals was, well, two of them was a penalty kick, but one of them was considered to be a self-goal for the Croatians because the goalkeeper just kind of apparently managed to help it in by mistake.
Wow.
But, yeah, I mean, the Croatians played really good, actually, very well. Yes, I cannot believe this, but I actually watched the footy.
I didn't watch the final, weirdly enough.
I didn't watch it. I genuinely missed it. But to be honest with you, I kind of expected France to win anyway, just for the fact that, you know, they've always been a solid team. They're former champions themselves.
They have
recent memory.
They have done really well. I mean, they have played really well. So did Croatia. So it was a good game. I have to admit. As little as my understanding of football goes, it was a good game. And yeah, both teams kind of played awesomely.
Yeah, good for the French.
Yeah, good for them.
They definitely earned it. I mean, they came up through the harder side as well.
Oh look, one of the most polarizing Pokemon ever.
And now it's gone.
As it should be. I mean, to be perfectly fair, I don't have an issue with this Pokemon's, like with the idea behind this Pokemon, because, you know, I don't mind artifact creatures all that much. It's just a really, really awful design.
Yeah.
Yeah, not one of its particular designer's greatest ideas. Which is a shame because he's done some awesome things.
The thing is, though, is like people use. I know a lot of people frequently use Vanish. Wow, Wild Stoutland. Okay. People quite often use the vanilla line as a way of saying, oh, the new designs of Pokemon are terrible. Execute is just a pile of eggs with faces.
Seal is literally a seal.
Diglett. Just Diglett.
Voltorb is a ball with a face. So
Yeah.
actually, no, I take that back. It's not even a ball with a face. It's a ball with eyes.
I mean, at least that particular species has a cool idea behind it, since it's supposed to be just a mimic.
But still.
But, yeah, I know. Generation 1 had a lot of designs that were just kind of... And it did have the biggest issue with Pokemon, basically just the same thing clumped onto each other. I never understood. I don't. I mean, here's an example. I absolutely love Magnemite. It's adorable. But Magneton is the laziest evolution ever. Which is one of the reasons I actually really like when they introduced Magnezone.
I think on that topic though, I think that it kind of worked for Weezing in so much that it basically just made it look like this weird mutant sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Weezing isn't literally a coughing attached to another coughing. I mean, it is sort of budding off in a weird kind of almost cancerous fashion, which is sort of the whole point.
But it kind of fits Weezing's theme of just being a toxic dumpster pile.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, then you have Diglett and Dugtrio and...
Wait. Now I understand why Smogon got its name.
Yeah, it's coughing.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, basically, that's all there is to it. I mean, Generation 1 had some pretty uncreative evolutions. I mean, even later, when you take Generation 3, for example, which also played with the idea of evolutions that are, you know, sort of fusions of the same Pokemon multiple times, it actually made them sort of look like they've gone somewhere. Case in point, the Beldon line.
I think Clink's line is kind of an example of that as well.
Clink's line is, Clink is an awful example because Clang is literally just Clang with another ring.
Yeah, and what makes it worse is, to be fair, Klinklang was probably one of the... there isn't many Gen 5 Pokemon that end up just being completely underwhelming in every single way imaginable. Klinklang was one of them.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really get the whole point of that particular... I mean, I do like the idea of a gear Pokemon, but the execution left a lot to be desired. I mean, I have to admit that it is a cool idea when they've actually... if you take a look at Clang specifically, then you notice that it is Klink with another piece added to it. But Klinklang isn't different enough from Clang, whereas Clang was different enough from Klink in terms of general appearance. I mean, it says a lot that when we did the TCM, we actually needed to have a custom sprite done for Klinklang to... This is Klinklang, actually, not just another Clang. Many thanks to Nauren RX for doing that, by the way, again.
As always.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things. And, you know, I think one of the reasons that the Blade disappointed me was the fact that it was like, oh, come on, I thought you grew out of that generation. Although I've kind of come to appreciate it at some point because of weird things my brain did with it at some point. But I do appreciate the fact that it eventually just kind of does get its own proper evolution.
Yeah.
Mostly because Aegislash is amazing.
Aegislash is great. It's definitely one of the best recent designs, even though it also got banned. But, you know. To be fair, I mean, I'll be honest, there's been quite a few recent designs, especially now that the new Pokedexes are a lot smaller. They're not...
It seems like they've gone for the idea of quality over quantity, which I approve of vastly.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better to do, especially now that there's so many different species and it's hard to keep track of them all, even like, you know, even if you've been playing this game since they've come out, it's really hard now to keep track of everything that's in the game.
Pretty much. Just reminds me of this particular picture that has been running around Tumblr for a while. I need to find it again. It's yeah, found it. It's just this thing that's like when Oedipus reached Thebes, he encountered a sphinx. If you want to pass this point alive, you must answer my riddle. What goes on 4 legs in the morning, on 2 legs at noon, and on 3 legs in the evening? The Sphinx asked. Oedipus pondered for a moment. Probably one of those new Pokemon, he finally replied. There's like 600 of them. I'd be surprised one of them doesn't change its number of legs swapping. Fair enough, man, spoke the Sphinx. I can't reasonably expect you to remember all the names. You may pop.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done that yet, to be honest.
Well, technically they almost have.
Hmm.
Have you seen Slowbro?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mega Slowbro kind of completely trivializes that though.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Slowbro kind of...
It has a tail.
Yeah, it sort of spins around on the top and wears its shoulder host like a bikini.
Yeah, and ironically ends up being one of the best calm mind users in the game.
Yeah, which is kind of hilarious because if you look at its face, it actually looks... I mean...
It doesn't look calm.
Yeah, it just looks like...
Distressed.
Guys, I think that I'm being eaten alive!
It looks like it's like, oh dear, I'm about to die.
Pretty much,
Someone
yeah.
please help me.
Why am I in a Sarlacc?
Like,
I still
who
find it
designed
hilarious.
that? I'd love to know who designed that and what the hell they were thinking when they thought, you know what, I'm just gonna make Slowbro get literally eaten by a giant clam.
Well, I mean, technically it was already being eaten, it's just being eaten a bit less slowly.
Yeah, but apparently that's its like super powered Mega Evolution. It's like, okay.
It's another one of those weird cases where Mega Evolution seems to affect a part of the Pokemon, but less so another. Like Mega Kangaskhan, for example. Mega Kangaskhan, the Kangaskhan side of it is just the same thing. It's the baby that gets Mega Ultra powered for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's sort of the thing with this particular species too.
So does Mega Sableye similar because it doesn't change, the gem does.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, its eyes change a bit, but it's basically just Sableye with a bigger rock holding a rupee.
It's, yeah, Sableye holding a rupee, and somehow it becomes ridiculously strong when it does so.
And Magic Bounty, yeah.
Yeah, best calm mind user in the game.
That thing is kind of... I mean, to be fair, I'm kind of surprised it took them another set of games to introduce it, because it wasn't around in X and Y.
It was not, no, it was...
X and Y added in Mobile. I was like, huh, I wonder why they haven't done Sableye, since they're like big counterparts they've always been. And then, yeah, and then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came up, like, oh, hey, they have. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, you know...
To be fair, I was kind of pissed off when they introduced it, because I had an evolution for Sableye that I really, really liked. But, you know, I guess I think...
I mean, Sableye getting Prankster kind of threw most of that out of the window anyway, I think.
Kind of, I mean... I still do want to do something with that particular design, because Gemini was kind of great in terms of actual design. But, yeah, I'm probably going to... I might actually sort of make it its own thing and sort of drop the gems for... then it kind of loses the name.
You could do it Alola Mola style. Where it just looks like an evolution, but actually isn't.
Yeah, but it just kind of... It doesn't seem to really work right. I could just kind of... I was thinking of playing a bit with it and making it look a bit more Displacer Beast-y, because that was sort of the general idea I was running with. The only problem, of course, being the fact that Displacer Beasts are not like a generic fantasy creature. They're like very specifically created for a particular setting, so I can't really do too much of a thing. But then
They
again...
actually had a movie in World of Warcraft called exactly that. As it happens. It was actually called Displacer Beast.
Huh. I do wonder how they managed to get the rights to do this.
I don't know, because the thing is, I know WoW makes a lot of references to things anyway, so they might have got away with it just from that. But yeah, the move literally teleports your pet like about 20, it like blinks your pet like about 20 yards forward and turns them invisible.
Nice. Looks like, yeah, it was also a weird cat thing, apparently. The one thing I did like, the thing I do like, Displacer Beasts.
Or was it Druids that did that?
It is Druids, yeah.
Yeah, Druids, it teleported your cat form and turned it invisible.
Yep. The cool thing about Displacer Beasts, the original Dungeons & Dragons type of Displacer Beasts, is the fact that, you know, they have weird squid tentacles and 6 legs, and they're not actually where you think they are. The whole idea of this particular species is they can sort of warp light around them, so they can make themselves appear in one particular place while they're actually in somewhere completely different. Which is really nifty, and my general concept for that particular Sableye evolution was the fact that it's you know, it messes around with light to do exactly that.
Yeah.
And obviously kind of lost its point, but
Well done, Al.
I am going to have to play around with. I might actually recycle that particular concept when I build what we were talking about with Azure Form. Same lie. I mean, we did have sort of an idea that it has slightly different stats or abilities or something based on the type of gem it particularly represents. It's still very much in the air right now. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I just
Probably
have-
we'll see
yeah.
what sticks is the best way to do it, really.
Basically, yeah. I just have so many things to work on in this particular region that.
There we go. Snake versus ice cream.
That thing is. Yeah, it's not James Turner's finest moment.
Well,
Yeah, that was a silly move. Never mind.
ouch. Splat. And the Weevil should be able to handle this. Well, it's fair, we've actually made quite a bit of progress today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
We punched the Lesser in the face, and we're about to Zolan in the face, so that's a lot of face punching for one day. Nice.
Mm-hmm. And then next episode we get to be launched out of cannons by Skylar, the horrible human being.
Well, we actually have to get all the way through the tunnels of
Oh yeah,
Zack Face, yes.
Isn't the cave where Axu lives near that?
That's Mistorton Cave, actually.
Mm.
It's where Axu lives and where you find Cabalion for the first time.
Ah, yeah. See, I
Actually, not
as
for the
soon as I
first
could,
time, it's just for the time in this particular game.
yeah, as soon as I could get access to that cave, I just went straight in there, caught Axu, and was like, yeah, in there.
Yeah, Axu is a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah, Dragon Dance Haxorus just wins this whole game, pretty much.
Yep. Haxorus is amazing in general.
It is.
And I remember when I actually had one of those in my first, so to speak, competitive team on Showdown.
Mm.
And for some reason, nobody ever expected to see it use Poison Jab, and it was like,
Why?
it's only obvious.
Mm.
Especially with fairies being pretty much all over the place. People just
Yeah.
kept throwing fairies into the thing, and they just kind of lightly poison jab them to death because it's Haxorus, and Haxorus has murder stats.
Yeah, see, like, the correct answer to that is Skarmory, but apparently most people don't
Oh.
know that.
Yep. Skarmory is great.
It is very. Used it many a time. Some teams it works, other teams it kind of feels a bit out of place. It kind of needs a partner to fit in,
Mm-hmm.
which on the Team Stupid it did have. It had Lantern.
Oh yeah, that was very. I'm pretty sure that if it wasn't for that particular combination, I would have probably had an easier time.
Yeah, the whole idea is that Skarmory and Lantern was supposed to be like a defensive core.
Yeah.
Since the Lantern's got higher special, or at least better special overall due to its health.
Yeah.
Skarmory does, and Skarmory covers the physical, and in terms of tight combinations, they combine really well because Lantern's weak to ground and grass, and Skarmory resists both. Skarmory's weak to fire and electric, and Lantern resists both. So,
They really do work out well.
mm,
And Lantern is an awesome Pokemon, I love that thing. And yeah, Skarmory is one of the most annoying walls I have ever encountered, and that is obviously a good thing in this particular setting.
oh yeah, like it's if you don't have something to deal with Skarmory, it'll pretty much ruin your life.
Pretty
effectively.
much. Yeah, exactly.
And quite a few people don't. They, like inexperienced players will not account for it. which results in them just being, well, bird food, for lack of a better description.
Yeah.
And then, well, Team Stupid was just crazy anyway. It was just a bunch of silly ideas that I kind of threw together, and yeah,
And it actually worked pretty well, to be perfectly honest.
yeah, it worked strangely well. I was kind of surprised that it ended up actually kind of having some decent synergy, considering it was literally two completely separate ideas stuck to each other and then thrown into a team to try and bind it all together. The ideas being effectively Lantern and Slurpuff.
Yep. All hail Malkorok.
All hail. And yeah, for obvious reasons, Slurpuff ended up standing out a lot more.
Yep. Thing was a complete and utter weapon.
It really was. Unfortunately, I didn't get to use it very much, but when it did get used, bad things happened to people.
Yep.
I do find it strange, though, that that's kind of like what I'm remembered for. Is using weird stuff and making it work.
That is actually a really awesome thing, to be perfectly honest. I mean, there's sort of two people on Charms in terms of weird competitive shenanigans that associate with doing just that. One of them is you, and the other is Ruko.
Yeah.
And
He's
his
doing a lot
life effed Alomomola. God, that thing.
Yeah, I mean, mine was, because even in, it came up in VGC as well, although I think people kind of missed the point of it a little bit. Because with VGC, when you actually think about what you're doing, as opposed to just copy-pasting, which is what people seem to like doing now.
Yeah, it's a shame.
You kind of find weird scenarios where certain things end up being the perfect fit for the team. And I mean, I suppose it applies to singles play as well. Where something just happens to fit in perfectly that otherwise wouldn't normally have any particular use outside of this one specific scenario that it finds itself. In VGC, I used to Serperior in VGC because I just liked the line. That was personal preference. The thing that people didn't quite get is I didn't use Raichu for the same reason. People just can't, they thought, oh, it's like we hardly ever see people use Raichu, is it? It's like, yeah, actually Raichu's really good in VGC, you just don't realise that for some bizarre reason.
Yep. They're too busy trying to use Raichus where Thundurus should have been used, or more, something to that effect.
Yeah, like I've already discussed this in a previous video where people I don't want to use the overused stuff, and then just copy paste the overused Pokemon's moveset onto the new Pokemon.
Yes, Craggy is part dark.
Yeah, it is part dark. It's dark fighting, which is a wonderful type combination, I'd like to point out.
Yeah, I realised that afterwards.
John Cena should smash his face in though.
Essentially, yeah.
But yeah, it's a case of finding, like, when you kind of spend a long time playing AM, you kind of realise that certain things end up fitting in better than more obvious options, or you kind of become aware of other things that could potentially work in certain scenarios. And you kind of learn how to experiment with them as well, and try and work out what works and what doesn't.
Yep. And
Raichu just happened to work, albeit not quite as intended. I'd initially intended to use it as like a lightning rodder, so it protects. So I had two Pokemon that were very weak to electric, so I stuck Raichu in as a lightning rodder and opposite lightning rod ended up being useful, just kind of ended up being there, like an added extra. And it ended up basically being really annoying sort of questions and articles to everything.
We seem to have lost the voice chat. Sorry about this.
I think it's working now.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you again now.
That was incredibly weird. Yeah, I mean, basically.
Is it really? It's Discord. That's not that weird.
It was Discord.
Yeah, Discord not working properly? What?
Whoa.
Yeah, I tried disconnecting from the chat and reconnecting to see if that would fix it, and then it broke it completely.
Well, basically, Discord really hates Raichu. That's my takeaway from this particular.
That's because Raichu could beat Discord's ass. Let's be honest.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure Farfetch'd could beat Discord.
Yeah.
That's a memory leak waiting to happen.
I'm pretty sure that's half their problem, yeah. I love this because technical wonkery here, but Discord is built on the same programming language that the telephony system uses, as in, you know, telephones, which never go down. It's specifically designed to be completely bulletproof, and yet Discord somehow breaks it. It's quite impressive.
Yeah.
Discord is magical like that.
Good job, guys.
So I won't be around in 2 years anyway.
Will it not?
Well, they'll run out of money.
Huh? Wonder why.
I mean, they seem to be making quite a bit off of Discord Nitro, but I can't imagine it's going to be enough to keep them afloat.
No.
It's going to really absorb if and when they actually crash.
Something better will come along.
Yeah,
Either that or some bigger company just ends up buying the whole thing.
Well, that's
I think that's
entirely possible.
What that's probably what they're aiming for, to be perfectly honest. I mean,
Well, they're a startup, of course it is.
yeah.
I mean, Google might end up buying it and they're just like, yeah, whatever.
But the
They're probably
They
buying it.
already are running on Google's servers, as far as I remember.
is it Google Cloud Service? You're probably right. The problem is,
Yeah, it is
Google,
Google.
Microsoft, and Facebook already have their own competing services. Amazon kind of does now. They're the kind of the one that I would expect to show an interest, if ever.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
mean, it would be interesting if they sort of weirdly bashed Twitch and Discord together in some terrible flesh monstrosity sort of way.
that's what I was wondering. I mean, they've got Twitch Desktop now, which is basically the same thing. But I think you have the kind of problem where Discord can't replace Twitch Chat because it's, well, I mean, have you seen the volume that Twitch Chat carries sometimes? And
Yeah.
it's built on top of IRC, like quite deliberately as well. It's just a fancy IRC network. It's really cool. So Discord couldn't really help them with that, like give them message retention or anything. And then the whole Rooms feature, which uses a different system, well, they've already got that, and it kind of does what Discord does already. So it would be a purchase to get access to the player base, not necessarily to the
Yeah, technology.
not to the technology. Yeah, I say player base, users. But out of anyone, Amazon is, I think, the most likely to have a go. Like I say, I can't see Google doing it because they've got like 4 or 5 competing chat services already. Facebook has Facebook Messenger. You know, Apple is not in the same market, so they don't care, and they've got iMessage.
Yeah.
So you have kind of a problem where the really big ones don't necessarily, or rather, the obvious subjects don't necessarily have any interest.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a slightly broken program, but it kind of does what it currently does.
Well, I think with a sufficient budget and a decent number of, you know, and a decent amount of time, they'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm just basically keeping my claws crossed that they actually do get that, because I actually genuinely like Discord.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's the best kind of chat service I've used in quite some time.
It certainly is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it has problems, but so does everything.
Well, it has problems that are solvable. The problems aren't
Yeah.
with the core design of the service.
No, they're just with the service kind of
Yeah,
glitching every
it's
once in
just a
while.
little bit, you know, not quite able to hold to, you know, it grew too quickly, I think. It had the same problem.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
Pokemon
exactly.
Go, but on a much smaller scale.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go. I just go check out if anything surfaces like blinked into existence and then blinked out.
Yeah, I mean, even Microsoft, who have pretty close ties with Discord, they have Microsoft Teams now. So even they're kind of thinking,
Yeah,
What's
and
the
they
point?
also and they also kind of have Skype, but basically no one uses Skype anymore except for like business applications.
Yeah, Skype.
Hello,
I've used
it's back.
Skype for business.
Why is that thing so awful looking? Well, of course, it's Chansey. I just had a Chansey pop up and go, and I'm like, God, that thing is fucking creepy. Sorry, swear jar.
it's alright.
Chansey has triggered the swear jar.
Yeah, that thing, monstrosity, and falls into that definition of what exactly are they? What are they? The silly thing is that, you know, the Chansey is another one of those Pokemon that, not Chansey, Blissey, is another one of those Pokemon where the beta design was actually kind of a lot more interesting than what we end up getting.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have a heart in its head, which kind of ends up looking like a butt, but, you know, the weird, sort of ammunition belt of eggs. I kind of appreciate that design a whole lot more than the weird frilly thing we end up getting in the end.
Eggs.
Well. They really love their confused race, don't they?
They really do, and it's really annoying.
Are we run over?
Yeah, we are.
Slightly, but we've also started late, so
I'm gonna get through this particular section and then,
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I do need to go soon.
Yeah. Just realized something.
alright.
We've gotten through an entire stream of white without lapsing into the obvious. We've just plain forgotten it.
Yeah, we forgot to forget about Generation 5. It's become cool stuff.
Yep. Well, there was evil. Yeah.
I do hope the person responsible for that ridiculous meme does actually end up watching this at some point. And I think we will about to go now, yeah.
Rest types are awesome. This is just a general observation, doesn't really have anything to do with anything. I just...
It is very good. They are very, very good. They didn't used to be initially. They did have some problems. But
Well, everything had some problems. Sometimes they were problems that helped the type, but a lot of times they weren't. Oh, right, I remember, you don't actually get to battle any of the stages in this one.
Not during the game, no.
Not
Okay.
even after the game.
Oh no,
You
you're
only
right,
get-
yeah.
You only get to battle any of them in like generating like 5.5 in Black 2 and White 2.
That's true. Well, we'll be playing that too, so
Well,
get,
yeah,
we'll get there.
eventually.
Get there eventually.
We'll get there.
Well, apparently we are nearly 12 hours into this particular run, including the grinding I did. So it's going quite well. I mean, we've got 4 badges now. We're, you know, going for the 5th one pretty soon. It won't be tonight for obvious reasons, but it'll be.
Yeah.
Kind of hilarious how we're all in the 3 to 4 badge area, except for except for Johto, which is kind of stuck behind a code.
Yeah. But I think it's because the progression in Gen 5 is set up so that you can get through the first half of the game relatively quickly.
Yeah.
There's not much blocking you. Whereas it's like, if you look at Gen 6, you get the first 2 badges, and then you've got hours and hours and hours before you get access to the next one.
See, the funny thing is as much as we say that Gen 5 is forgettable, I actually genuinely don't remember very much of Gen 6's main story at all.
Because there wasn't really all that much to remember. Most of the characters weren't exactly memorable, and
No.
It was the Gen 4 story, but told slightly better. That's it.
very.
I would say different. I wouldn't say better.
Yeah,
Well, I said the only reason I say better is because of the whole thing with Az, whatever his name is.
AZ, yeah.
I call
Yeah.
it AZ. You know.
AZ.
AZ, lol.
So
Might as well call him Jay-Z.
I was gonna say, is he a rapper now?
Yes.
Yes, that would be great.
But yeah, go on.
I think I said all I had to say, to be honest.
Might as well just call him Amazon, okay? Seriously.
Yeah, but I like the bit with Amazon. I like what they were setting up for. I think it would have been okay. I would have been able to deal with a sort of generic story had they expanded on it drastically in a sequel or 3rd version.
It looks like they were planning to. I mean, they did have the they did have his particular color swap of Floette, which was completely obtainable and have its own signature move.
Yeah.
But, you know, they just never released that event for similar reasons to the Ocarina of Time in Generation 4. So yeah, there's another point of similarity.
Yep.
And apparently he used to hang around in Hoenn too, because he had something to say about Requaquae.
Yep.
Mega Requaquae. Giant space rock eating angry snake.
Yeah, well, why not? The Delta episode was at least extremely fun, so.
Yeah, it did. It was ridiculous, but in a fun sort of way. I mean, honestly,
I don't mind.
It was Dragon Ball with some really over-the-top dragon riding into space and punching an alien crystal gem shapeshifting, whatever the flip Deoxys is. Amazing, but that's beside the point. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like...
They had fun, that's the important thing.
Yeah, and I think it's like I was saying yesterday, it's a different story. Like, even Gen 5, as much as I love it, it is just by far the best executed version of the same story they've been telling since Gen 1. This is what we were saying yesterday. Whereas with this, with the Delta episode, they're trying something different. They're exploring something new in the Pokemon world. That's...
Shame they haven't done the same in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and instead we just got the invasion of these silly Ultimate Dimension team bosses.
Maybe one day I'll actually play Ultra Sun and Moon.
Someday. Perhaps. Perhaps.
I mean, you don't have to.
No, I probably should because I own it, but I don't feel particularly compelled to.
We can put it in with the charity stream.
They're not that bad though.
True.
They are. I mean, they're not brilliant, but they're not terrible.
No, we can put Diamond and Pearl in with the charity stream.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Specifically Pearl, actually, since we can get away with putting Palkia on the non-PG stream.
Well, that's one way to demonstrate we give a flying F.
Yep.
Will we have to swear jar every time it appears on screen?
What, Palkia?
Yeah.
Well,
not for the charity
no,
stream.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, like, we would all be bankrupt.
That's true, that's true. Oh well. Okay. I think it is probably time to end now.
Yes,
it probably is, yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a kind of an hour
Fun,
and 40.
productive. It's been good.
I've been quiet, but never mind. It's probably for the best. I just focused on playing the game, which led to a lot less stupid mistakes today than last week, which is good.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Even though I am full of cold. Actually, I'm good.
So until then, perfect timing for the cold storage thing.
Well, yes. Ah, nothing useful yet. I was hoping to find quick balls here. They got dust balls though. I'll have some of those. The correct Pokeball. For most
Or
situations.
kids.
Well, we'll be playing this at night, so.
It's
It-
a goth.
Well, now I have to catch a Goth Eater in one.
Leave it MLB. Oh wait, this is white. You can't.
It's kind of a shame that Goth Eater needs its hidden ability to really be useful.
Yeah. Yeah, Gothitelle Shadow Tag's kind of awesome, but it's hidden, so.
It's
Yeah.
also Gothitelle, so
Yep.
we
Oh,
got
well.
the objectively better version exclusive.
Yeah, Reuniclus is great. So
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. So I do actually have one. I might end up training it to replace Munna if it ever stops being useful. Although it has occurred to me that one of my Pokemon is going to have to go anyway, because I'm going to need a Surf Slave. And
Yeah.
ideally a Fly Slave as well. Again, none of my Pokemon can learn either of those. So I might have to
You
replace
do know, well, there is one perfect way to get around those and actually have a slave that does both.
Alright, Ducklet?
Yep, Ducklet and or Swanna.
Yeah, that's why I was hunting around on the bridge a little bit ago, but I decided I didn't want to kind of grind for it at the expense of actually
you
doing
can do that off
things.
screen.
Yeah. I might grab one of those, although I don't know who would get swapped out for it. I mean, at the moment, the weak link is probably Lord Smugleaf. But I
Yeah,
don't.
but he has to stay.
Well, yes, he does. So I suppose the other one is possibly Munna, but at the same
We
time,
shall see.
yeah,
We'll work it out.
we'll work it out later on. The original plan was to grab Surf and then go back all the way back to Naverna Town and then just surf across
Oh,
to
right.
get the
Thing.
the Larvesta egg. But I don't know if I'm going to because Darumaka is doing really, really well for us. So
Yeah, Darmanitan is kind of a weapon of mass destruction, and
really is.
you could deal with that in this particular setting.
Yeah. I don't know, whichever works.
We'll see.
We shall see. Alrighty then. So next week, I think we're on an altered schedule, aren't we?
Yeah, we
Uh,
are.
Because Dr. Oak is not around on the Saturday. So are we? Do you think we might be having a substitute stream, or do you think we'll be just off that day?
I think well, if I manage to be on Saturday, then I could be.
All right.
I
Well,
might actually do. I might do Saturday instead of Friday. I mean, I don't really have a fixed standard schedule, but we shall see what happens.
whichever works, honestly.
It will
Which-
depend-
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends on my work.
What we'll do, we'll say, if I'm able to get mine running, I could start it on that day potentially, but we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes.
Well, as always, we'll let you know on the socials, on the website, pokercharms.com. If you're not already doing so, make sure to follow our social accounts. They are, I believe, listed in the description on Twitch. If not, it's just Poker Charms everywhere, Facebook and Twitter. Especially Twitter, we always make sure to tweet out when we're starting, tweet out what we're going to do. We tweet out when the schedule goes up as well, which tends to be Thursday or Friday.
Listen to the birds.
Yes. Except when they're being racist.
Oh yes, naturally.
So really don't listen to the bird, ever. Yeah. I'll be back next week as normal, I think. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and we shall see you again very soon.
Yes, we shall.
See ya.
Bye-bye now.
Boy.